Hello and welcome to the Should You Buy for the Hellspawn. We're going to take a look at its concept art, its stats, its possible hitbox and hardpoint locations, and give you a sense of whether or not you should buy this mech. Now to start off, this is nostalgia again from MechWarrior 4. You get these nice little soldier mechs in the beginning, and they would be so well, nice good sort of energy and missile brawler, and they would carry you through several of the medium ranked missions in those games. So I'm happy to see it come into MechWarrior Online, and we're going to see if it works well in our systems in this game. But let us scroll on down and take a look at the prices of the packages. We have the standard pack and collector's pack for $20 and $40 respectively. This is a very standard pricing for them. We got the three variants, the 7D, 8E, and 9F. As well as with the collector's pack, you get an additional 7D with the 30% C-build boost and the special camo pattern. We have mech bays to house all of those guys, 30 days premium in the standard pack, and 60 days premium in the collector's pack, as well as some various cockpit items and titles and badges. The hero and reinforcements are $15 each, with the hero being the Paralyzer, the 7D2, and the reinforcements of the 7P and the 8P. Now we're going to take a look at those and see if they're pay to win or pay to optimize compared to the normal variants, or anything that we already have in the game today. The Ultimate Pack is $70 and is just everything added together, and I still would like to see them reduce the cost of the Ultimate Pack just by $5 or $10, just to say, hey, you can get each of these things separately, but if you get it together, you get a little bit of a package deal, and you get a little bit of a discount. Thanks for supporting the game at the ultimate level. And I think that would be an incentive for some people to purchase those ultimate level packages. Early adopter rewards are purchasing before September 30th, and the mech itself ships on December 12th, which is just after the weekend of MechCon. Now, these are all just various cockpit items and camo patterns and stuff like that, so you don't really need them in terms of gameplay. So if you're entirely focused on that, you can wait to see what the quirks are for this mech, how they perform, and then you can make your purchasing decision. Moving down here to the Mechs Specs, we have the stats of it. It's a 45-ton inner sphere battle mech, which means we can change around our engine ratings and our upgrades, but we cannot change our hardpoints. We have a max engine rating of 355. Almost every single one of them, except for the hero, comes with already upgraded endo steel and double heat sinks. The hero also has those. Every single one has double heat sinks. To start off, that is just C-bill savings. You don't have to put in a bunch of resources once you purchase these mechs in order to get them upgraded and get them onto the battlefield. They also all come with XL engines, and while I do have some concerns about their durability with XL engines, that is good C-bill value. Even if you're going to swap these for other types of engines, you can sell these zones and use those to purchase the other engines that you want. Every single one of them, except for one, the 7P, has the ability to take jump jets, and three of them, the 7D, 8E, and the hero, the Paralyzer, have ECM capability, and none of them have mass capability. But now let's pop back over to the Spreadsheet Warrior in a second. First, I want to talk about the concept art and possible hitboxes here. And we're going to take a look at the concept art for the hero, because the colors on this help with the discussion. I'm going to be talking in the Spreadsheet Warrior about which engine I would take for this. And first we need to talk about the fact that there's some issues with the hitboxes on this mech. If we look at the left torso to start off here, the left torso looks very broad, very wide, and possibly easy to shoot. Also, this center torso is protruding and could possibly be very easy to shoot from several angles. It's going to have a dragon type issue to it. The dragon's protruding nose, allowing it to be easily side torsoed. It's going to depend on how far forward along this protruding CT do these side torsos come. Do they cover the CT? In which case, it's going to be very easy to side torso, and XL engines are going to be actually quite scary on it. Is it that the side torsos are this tiny little section here? Well, that means that the center torso is just going to be cored out practically every single time, and then it probably won't matter what engine type you're taking. It's really interesting though, because what I believe they're showing here on this concept art is the default loadout of the 7D, which has right arm missiles. This missile pod here looks like it's attached to the arm of the mech. So that means that this arm, if you have that missile, might be extremely easy to take off. As well, this energy here isn't CT. There's ECM in the CT. So this energy would be right torso. So if that's right torso, that means that the right torso does cover this protrusion, and it's going to be quite easy to shoot off, as you're going to be able to hit it from multiple angles, even sort of a 3/4 back from this mech. It could be almost facing away from you, and you could still sneak a shot into its center, into its side torso. And then this very large flat left torso is possibly going to be quite easy to shoot. So with that in mind, we're going to pop over to the Spreadsheet Warrior, where we have set up a plethora of choices of different mechs and with different engine sizes to take. We have the XLs, and for the engine ratings, I've done 250, 280, 300, 325, and 350. The max is 355, but these are the breakpoints, where you get extra engine heat sinks or engine slots to put heat sinks in, while also not being heavier than the previous one. So that is why the 280 is not a 275, which would fit into the 25, because a 280 is the exact same weight as a 275. But comparing them all here, I really think, but because of those issues with the hitboxes, the XLs are going to be unsafe. You do not want to use an XL on this thing, unless you're going to make sort of this mentality. You're going to go like an XL 325, 350. You're going to get yourself up to around 130 kilometers an hour. You're not going to have much in terms of pod space, because you're putting a lot of it into your engine, but you are going to be so goddamn fast that you just avoid people. That's where I think an XL will work on this thing. But if you want to have more of an upfront sort of let's stand and fight kind of design, and you want to take a little bit of more of damage, standards are not going to be your choice. They're going to be too heavy. It's a 45 tonner. It just doesn't have the weight to take a standard engine. It's going to be light engines, I believe. And I think it's going to be in this range, 250 to 300. It's going to be depending on whether or not you want a little bit more mobility compared to your firepower. But I've done all of my example builds and all my theory crafting with a light 280. And that is probably what I'm going to be using on them in the game. It gets me to 108.4 after speed tweak, which is, I feel, more than enough if you are predictive and you know, okay, it looks like the group is moving this way. I'm going to start going that way, ahead of time. You don't need to be reactive like you can be with 130 kilometers an hour. You can be a little bit more predictive, and you can not have those extra 20, 25 kph and put them into your durability. But heading back to the stats here, let's scroll down to the bottom and go through each of these mechs one by one. Now these are battle mechs, so we're looking at them vertically, as we cannot change their hardpoints around. But we're just going to go through and sort of list off their various hardpoints here. And the Hellspawns all have extremely similar hardpoint type layouts, because it's just a combination of energy and missile in some combination. They're swapping it out, so where one will have a certain quantity of energy and one will have a certain quantity of missile. And then there's another one that just basically swaps those numbers, or takes one energy and gives it an additional missile. So a lot of these builds are going to be extremely similar to each other, and basically I'm just going to give you a couple sort of design ideas, and then you can make them fit on any of these with varying quantities of weapons. on the 7D, which has jump jets and ECM, we have 2 energy in the left arm, missile in the left torso, ECM in the center torso, energy in the right torso, and energy and missile in the right arm. This gives us a total of 4 energy, 2 missile, ECM, and jump jets. The example build that I have for it right now is something like 4 ER mediums or 4 medium lasers, a pair of CERM4s, ECM, a couple jump jets, and a couple tons of ammunition. Try to move around, use the jump jets to sneak around in the backfield with our ECM, and possibly catch somebody out with some medium lasers and SRM4s. The 8E trades off one of the energy hardpoints from the 7D to gain an additional missile. We have a total of 3 energy and 3 missile, with 1 energy in the left arm, 2 missiles in the left torso, 1 energy in the right torso, and 1 energy, 1 missile in the right arm, and that ECM in the CT. So extremely similar to the previous one. I've done like 3 medium lasers, 3 CERM4s, a few tons of ammos, a single jump jet because missiles are heavier to work with, especially on the inner sphere side, than energy at this weight level. If these were clan SRMs, it would be easier to work with because they are much lighter, but we have to deal with the heavier inner sphere SRMs. But along those lines, I'm not taking Artemis on any of these because I don't think it has the weight to do it. And inner sphere SRMs have a tight enough spread that I don't think they need it, specifically for 4s. So that's why I'm not taking Artemis. The 9F, the last of the basic pack, we have 2 energy in the left arm, 2 missile in the left torso, nothing in the CT, and 1 energy and 2 missile in the right arm. This gives us a total of 3 energy, 4 missile, and we start seeing the impacts of having the heavier missiles. Instead of medium lasers, I've gone with 3 ER smalls and 4 SRM4s with some ammunition and a couple jump jets. And from here, we're moving on to the reinforcement packs. More of the same, we start getting a bit more into the extreme of going really far to one type of hardpoint compared to the other. While these ones were all a combination of almost equal energy and missile, these guys are not. We have the 7P, which has energy in the left arm, 2 missile in the left torso, energy in the CT, 2 energy in the right torso, and 1 energy in the right arm. Gives us a total of 5 energy and 2 missile. So this thing can start doing things that would normally just be involved with laser vomit. We have 5 medium pulse lasers, say a single large pulse laser, 4 ER mediums. These would both work on this particular mech. We have 5 ER smalls and 2 CERM6s with some ammunition, and a little bit larger of an engine, a light 300. So this thing could be a little bit faster, focusing on just mass ER smalls and some backup SRMs to go with it. This is the reinforcement pack, but while I'd be like, man, these hardpoints are maybe a bit more useful and a bit more, you can do more things with them, because you can do laser bomb, you can do other things besides just a mix of SRM and lasers. You are lacking the ECM, you're lacking the jump jets on this one. So the 7P, I'm not that concerned about in terms of just it being overpowered in that sense. But the 8P, sort of the reverse of what the 7P was. This has 2 missile in the left arm, 1 missile in the left torso, 2 energy in the right torso, and 2 missile in the right arm. This gives it a total of 2 energy, 5 missile, and it has the ability to take jump jets. Now this is a little bit difficult to work with because missiles are heavier for the inner sphere at this, you don't have much weight to work with at this level, 45 tons. But you can do something like just ignore the 2 energy hardpoints, do like 5 CERM4s and a bunch of ammo and like a single jump jet, and just make it into like an SRM striker of some kind. Maybe this is the one of the kind that you would want to go with an XL engine with, and up that XL engine's rating to like a 325 or a 350 or something in order to have this more of a striker mentality. I'm going to go in, I'm going to put these like 20 missiles on target, then I'm get out of there. That's something this can do. A little bit of jump jets in there so we can have some extra mobility, so we can have that SRM striker feel. But also something you could do is you could, and of course this goes for any of these mechs, is you could do something like 2 PPCs or 2 large pulse lasers if you wish. As it does just have 2 energy, you could ignore your missile hardpoints and you can just put on a pair of PPCs and use it as sort of a jump jetting, pop tarting little dual PPC mech. We're moving on here to the hero, and this one is very powerful in my mind. It's probably the strongest Hellspawn in the group. We have jump jets and ECM on it. We also have 6 energy and 2 missiles. We have 2 energy, 1 missile in the left arm, an energy in the left torso, an energy in the right torso, and 2 energy, 1 missile in the right arm. So we have 6 energy across the mech, 2 missile. We can do things like 6 ER smalls, a pair of SERM 6s. We want to do that combination thing. We can do the laser bomb builds like we could do on the 8P with 6 medium pulse lasers or a large pulse laser and 5 ER mediums. Plus, we have the jump jets and we have the ECM, so we can do those designs from hiding. You could also do the dual PPC on this. You could do 1 on each side torso, strip the arms down, and put them, make it into sort of like a mini Hunchback 2C kind of feel with it, like pop tart up, fire these, and if we look at the art here again, if that's the level of the hard points, it's not going to be that low, so it'd be okay to shoot them from there. But yeah, the Paralyzer is the only one that I'm really like, well, they obviously made that one better, didn't they? I'm not sure here. It would have been interesting for me if they maybe had swapped around 2 of these. If they had swapped around, say, the 7P and the 9F, and put it so that you could have a laser bomb version in the standard package, that would have made me a little bit happier. But also, wonder if the Paralyzer needs both ECM and jump jets with a fairly well-balanced hardpoint load. I value on specifically this 45 tonner because I've said it, missiles are heavier, they're harder to use on lighter mechs, especially in the IS, that I value energy hardpoints higher on this mech than I do missile hardpoints. So having 6 energy, the highest of any of the mechs on the hero, is interesting. It's just going to be more flexible than the standard variants. Definitely you can be effective with the standard variants, and you can do damage and win matches for sure, but it's just slightly annoying that the mech that is going to be the most flexible and useful probably in some situations is going to be the hero. But let us pop back up to the top here, and we're going to talk about the art here, the last bit of the hitboxes and the hardpoint placement that we sort of touched on already, and then give my final thoughts on it. So you can see I already talked about the hitboxes with the thing with the protruding side, but in terms of the difference from cockpit here is not really that low in terms of all the weaponry. We do have to, if we're, say, ridge peaking, we do have to expose basically our torso in order to get all of our shots on target. If we are doing something like we're just negating the arms, we're not using those, and if the side torso or center torso hard points for the energy weapons are fairly high where they are now, it isn't that bad comparatively to the cockpit. The missile hard points on the right and the left aren't that low either. This one is above cockpit, this one's just below cockpit, so they'll average out around cockpit level. So I think the hard point locations are decent for the mech. I would love to see what the quirks are for this, but we do know that PGI likes to value ECM and jump jets with how they do their quirks. So if mechs have those, they tend to get less quirks. But overall, my final thoughts here about the Hellspawn is it's going to be a decent little SRM energy brawler. I'm slightly annoyed that the hero has the most energy hardpoints, as they're more valuable for lighter mechs than other hardpoints, and that it also has everything good about it. It's got the jump jets and ECM, but they're trying to sell the hero, and it's not going to be overpowered. It's more just an annoyance to me. But if you like a good little ECM jump jetty sort of CERM laser brawler, this one will fit your mentality there. I feel like it's kind of be like an assassin crossed with a dragon in terms of hard like hitboxes, but just like a little bit fatter assassin. Same sort of gameplay, but a little bit slower, a little bit harder hitter maybe. I think it's gonna be fun if they give it some durability quirks and make it so like that's its thing. It doesn't get any firepower or anything. Just give it some like durability, so it just becomes this little bit of like a super brawly 45 tonner, like a little tank on legs sort of mentality. I will really like this mech. But that is going to be it for now. Thanks for watching, and good hunting.